is a narrative based on the knowledge of an outsider, one who is only told Joel's experiences, but could not exactly feel his emotions, how he struggled, and what he did to fight against his odds. It's 20 to 4 on a weekday, any weekday. Evening is coming soon, and employees are ready to finish yet another 9 to 5. But before they can find that solace, they first have to handle the task handed to them, as corporate America is not exactly a quiet job. Young Joel Lopez was among these employees. But in a lot of ways, he was very different. He had this aura that was just different. Despite working under the watches of corporate America, he desired to be an artist. He had a number of viewpoints that he just wanted to express to the world, and he did not let anything, not even his workspace, take away his sense of self. And as a result, he was able to deny conformity as we know it. He, like many others, knew the importance of maintaining a steady job, of working tirelessly to make money in order to sustain himself, to keep himself alive. Because in our current society, in our current way of life, money is how we survive. It's how we keep ourselves going. It's the obstacle that we need to overcome in order to get by, to do what we want to do. He even pursued a degree in business, knowing that at the time it was the right thing to do. And who could blame him? He needed to get through the obstacles in front of him. He wanted to become an artist. He wanted it more than anything. But first he had to adjust to his environment. However, he did not let this suppress his own desires to keep going with what he wanted to do. Even in the workforce, he was able to show that artistic personality, to show his realistic side. And he was a better man for doing it. But unfortunately, corporate America did not see it in that same way. When you think of such a workspace, it's not just an entity. It's more like a collective action. It's the culmination of different people who are trying to be as efficient and effective as possible in order to maintain society as it currently is, in order to create the world that we live in. And again, this is required for a lifestyle. You need to be effective in order to keep that lifestyle. But that's not to say that Joel did not work his hardest to be separate from that as possible. He appreciated a lot of things more than anybody I've ever heard. He saw meaning in those he cherished, those he loved, in ways that were they were symbolic. They had this meaning to them. And it was admirable. He saw a lot of significance and importance in cultures, beliefs, love, just life itself. He appreciated it dearly. And he embodied that, and he expressed that as much as he wanted to. He let nothing be in his way. And this was the artist behind this suit. He was the artist that denied his conformity, to be himself, to change something. But unfortunately, that cost him his job. When I was hearing this, it was infuriating because he is somebody with value. He's somebody who could change the world. He's somebody who could bring a breath of fresh air to something that is so homogenous that it's impossible to differentiate. Corporate America desired an image. It desired a specific way of action. And because he didn't meet that action, he couldn't stay in that workforce. Like, how is that fair to anyone? How is it fair to anyone's humanity? Why is it that corporate America should desire stagnance? Why is it that success should beget stagnance? Why can't there be creative people, people who will contribute to a new world that can drive this workforce and create something different? And in the end become fired. To be fired. Because of what? Because of what? And that's when he told me that in the end, he didn't really despair. It was almost shocking to me as the one who was listening to his story. He knew the repercussions of being denied a job, to having to now live on scraps. But in the end, he saw it as more of an enlightening moment. He found himself. He found that the space wasn't for him. Even he could have easily spent his time in that forest and figured out what he had to do on his own, but he chose to be himself. And that pushed him to not lose what he wanted more than anything. He realized through being relieved from his job that he wanted to be an artist full time. He wanted to be exactly who he said he wanted to be, and not let anything act as an obstacle for that. And in the end, it's amazing. It paid off. It paid off. He got his portraits, as vibrant as they were, he visualized everything about what he valued, and they got noticed by people, and notably the Newark art scene. He even got a spot in the Newark Museum of Art, which has a couple of his pieces right now. One you can see right now that I found to be a personal favorite of mine is what he called the Millennial Guardian Angel. It was this, although I can only act as an observer, I cannot begin to imagine how he felt at that time. I can't imagine what he went through. But I knew one thing at the end of all of this, that he denied the world so that the world could accept him. And in the end, it accepted him for who he was.